Boom! What up, America? Doug Gottlieb Show. Fox Sports Radio. Coming to you from the TireRack.com studios, TireRack.com. We'll help you get there. Unmatched selection, fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection. Over 10,000 recommended installers, TireRack.com. It's the way tire buying should be. Welcome in. Quite the night in sports. 2 NFL games last night. One was close. The other one was an outstanding performance by the Ravens, especially their offense and Lamar Jackson. Obviously, you heard from Dan Beyer, some just real tragic injuries. 2 days in a row, right? You had Chris Godwin last night. You go back to the night before, and you had Brandon Ayuk, who appears to be done for at least the season, maybe even more. So there's literally a lot to get to. A lot to get to. But I want to start with and kind of look ahead to what's in front of us tonight. Now, the NBA season gets kicked off tonight. I guess the headline game is the Lakers taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. And did you ever think the Timberwolves would be playing on opening night? Right? As you heard from Dan, the Celtics are going to get their rings. It's just a weird one that the Timberwolves, I guess it's a tip of the cap. Hey, a ton of respect to the Timberwolves, and they're matching up with the Lakers. The big story from this game is that there's the very strong likelihood that LeBron James and Bronny James play on the same floor at the same time, and what's been leaked out to be likely the second quarter. Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. will be in attendance as they take on the Wolves. Here's LeBron James when he was asked about Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. both being in attendance for the season opener.
I was a fan of Ken Griffey Jr. and then became a friend of Ken Griffey Jr. throughout my professional career, and to be able to see what they was able to do when Griffey Jr. went to Cincinnati, and them, being together, and then also when he was younger in Seattle, them being on the field, I always, kind of reminded of that one play when it was a pop field in center field, and Griffey Jr. just snuck in and took it from his dad, and I was like, pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment. It was a pretty fun moment. So, to be here today and to know that, those guys will be in attendance tonight, while me and Bronny is, on the same team, it's just a pretty cool, moment in the history of sports.
What would be the basketball equivalent of you and Bronny playing together in a basketball game, of accomplishing something like back-to-back home runs?
They had 2 home runs when they was in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty, probably 2 lobs. If I catch a lob and then Bronny catch a lob, that'd probably be equivalent of that.
So, all good vibes, all good feelings. And, there's the relation there. We're like, all right, well, he had his dad and he'll be in attendance whenever. And Ken Griffey Sr., by the way, was not nearly what LeBron James ever was as a player. And, of course, when Ken Griffey Jr. played, he was kind of hanging on well past his prime. I think the difference here, obviously, Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the great players, a Hall of Famer, one of the great players in the history of my lifetime playing Major League Baseball. I think the biggest difference here is just that. Like, you have a young player was destined for greatness, and this young player who most people, myself included, believe doesn't really belong in the NBA, not even close. But look, publicity stunts happen. Publicity stunts usually happen in the minor leagues or in places that need attention. And I didn't think the Lakers are a team playing on opening night that needs attention. But that's what this is, right? Is there an element to, hey, maybe Ken Griffey Sr. at that point in time shouldn't have been a major leaguer and he was holding on where Junior was ready? Maybe. That'd be fair. But he was a good, solid major leaguer for a long time, and that does not, I don't think that's anywhere close to what the ceiling is for LeBron James Jr. So I don't know. I just, there's a bunch of parts to it which just feel so artificial. Right? So artificial. And so, the Lakers, by giving him a 4-year guaranteed contract, like, he's got a roster spot. He's got a roster spot. And once you give in to this, it's like, are you really going to cut Bronny even after LeBron retires? probably not, because you want LeBron James to still come to your games, and he's the type of guy that would probably be vindictive and not come. But I talked to an NBA scout just yesterday, and he said he's not close. He's not close. And what will happen is he'll probably score a bucket tonight. Maybe he scores a couple buckets tonight. But the reality is he's not an NBA player, and it's not just him. You know, you have Maxwell Lewis. You have, why am I forgetting the other point guard they drafted from Indiana last year? Like, that's three guys that have roster spots at spot, 13, 14, 15. And they're not NBA players. And he's even further down the list than those two. So, but I guess my thing is, if you're going to do the dog and pony show, I like that you're doing it early in the year. I don't know why you do it game one. Shouldn't you do it game two when less people are paying attention? But it is interesting on how LeBron, I think because of, not in spite of, because of his greatness, has been allowed to get away with so many things, and this is just the latest of those things. Like, there's nothing that his son has accomplished as a player that would dictate that he should be in the NBA. And even though he's in the NBA, nothing outside of a massive 40, 50-point lead or a 40, 50-point deficit mandates that he should actually play in an NBA game. But here he's going to. Byron, will you watch? Are you fascinated by this in any way?
I'm not fascinated by it, but it will be on. I mean,
will it be on because it's the first NBA game, or be on because you want to see that Bronny play?
I think a little of both. I'm not sitting there tuning in saying I need to see this bit of NBA history, because I do feel that it's pretty contrived, but I will watch to try to see what the moment is like, to see how it's all handled, to actually see how Bronny James fares in whatever minutes he ends up getting, whether it be first half minutes or second half minutes or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I will. I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
What do you think, Jay Stu? I know you're a super cynic. Chris Perfett, where are you on tonight, and how much you'll watch?
I'm at probably a 30%. There's a larger problem in that I feel like especially the NBA is on 24/7 and shoved down my throat constantly. October I want to reserve for football. So having this is like the ooh, look at me event here when there's other stuff on. Laugh at me if you want, but I think I would rather watch a 1-6, 2-4 UTEP Louisiana Tech game tonight. It's football season. I'm sorry. This is no
basketball.
This is a bit of overload.
NBA basketball has crept up on me. I said that yesterday, and I think it's because baseball has kept my attention. That it's like three sport: college football, pro football, and baseball. Like, I'm three sports, I'm good. So NBA has crept up on me.
We had a Sunday which had Mets, Dodgers, and the Jets game. And still my timeline was full of people talking about the WNBA final. And that's fine. They can have their final there.
Well,
but
that's your algorithm, dude. That just shows where you've been.
No, partially. But at the same time, my point is that the basketball is now a 365 day, pro basketball is a 365 day sport. And I'm like, we're starting the season already. Hit me up in a couple months.
The Olympics made it seem like
absolutely.
It just ended. And we're like, wait, didn't this just end? But no, it's not, that didn't just happen.